The official name of the Republic of the Philippines, Filipino, Republica ng Pilipinas, is an archipelago country in Southeast Asia, located in the east of Indochina and north of Indonesia. Philippines, with an area of 342,353 square kilometers, the 64th largest country with a population of 109,581,078 people, it is the 13th most populous country in the world. The capital of the Philippines is Manila and its largest city is Quezon City. The official languages of this country are English and Filipino. This archipelago was first discovered by the Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan. The Spanish Empire colonized this archipelago. Later, during the American-Spanish War, the Philippines became a colony of the United States and finally became a colony of the Japanese Empire until it finally became an independent country. The currency of the Philippines is the Philippine peso, and its economy is the 34th largest economy in the world with a GDP of $371.8 billion in 2018. The Philippines has a democratic and constitutional government with a presidential system headed by Bongbong Marcos. The flag of this country is reversed during war. Philippines was one of the commercial centers in Southeast Asia in BC. The first Europeans who came to these islands were the companions of the famous explorer Ferdinand Magellan, who discovered this island with him in 1521 and set foot on this land. In the war between the United States and Spain, the Philippines became a colony of the United States, and then it was captured by Japan in World War II. In 1946, while Manila was nothing more than a ruin, a republican government was established in this country. The powerful presence of America has had a deep impact on Philippine society, so that this society is now a fusion of Asian culture, Spanish Catholicism and American capitalism. The Philippines has a democratic government and in accordance with the constitution with a presidential system, which is administered in a unified manner, with the exception of the Muslim Autonomous Region of Mindanao, which is governed very widely separately from the government. The Philippine government has tried several times since Ramos' presidency to change the government system to a federal, parliamentary or unicameral system. The president in the Philippines is both the head of the government and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. According to the recently approved Constitution of the Philippines, the country's political system is a presidential republic. The president and the 24-member Senate are elected by popular vote for a 6-year term. The president is in charge of the executive branch, which consists of 19 ministries. Also, the appointment of cabinet members is the responsibility of the president, and for this, there is no need for approval in the parliament. Alan Robles, a journalist, stated, "The founding of the Philippines was done by the colonialists. They shaped the political culture of this country and continue to influence their thinking. The country was under the rule of Spain for nearly 333 years and firmly under the rule of the United States of America for nearly 5 decades. According to Prospero's Anthropology of Convergence, the thinking, culture and psychology of the Filipino people, while they were actually Asian, became practically westernized." Regions in the Philippines are created for administrative division to facilitate the administration of the provinces in each division. The Philippines is divided into 17 regions, 16 administrative regions and 1 autonomous region. Most government offices are divided by regions and not individually in each province. Most of the cases are in the center of urban areas. Based on 2015 data, Calabarzon has the largest population and the national capital region, Manila, is the most densely populated region. The Philippines is an archipelago consisting of 7,641 islands. These islands are generally classified into 3 major archipelagos: Luzon, Mindanao, and the Visayas. The area of this country plus inland waters is 300,000 square kilometers, 115,831 square miles. The Philippines is the 5th largest island country in the world, and with 36,289 square kilometers, 14,011 square miles of coastline, it is the 5th largest country in the world. This is the opinion. The country's exclusive economic zone is 2,263,816 square kilometers, 874,064 square miles. Most of these islands are covered with tropical forests and volcanoes. The highest Mount Philip, which is located on the island of Mindanao, is Mount Apo, which is 2,954 meters high. The lowest point in the Philippines is called Galathea Depth, which is the 3rd deepest point in the world. The longest river in the Philippines is located in the north of the island of Luzon, and its name is the Cagayan River. 30. Manila Bay, which is located on the shore of the capital of the Philippines, Manila, is connected to Laguna de Bay by the Pasig River, which is the largest lake in the Philippines, will be. This country is bordered by Taiwan and China from the northwest, Japan from the northeast, Indonesia from the south, and Malaysia, Thailand and Singapore from the southwest, and it is surrounded by the Philippine Sea to the east and the South China Sea to the west. The 2 islands of Luzon and Mindanao together comprise 66% of the total area of the Philippines. Of the 7,107 islands in the Philippines, only 100 are inhabited, and among them, only 11 have a large population and only 2,770 have specific names. The Philippines is surrounded by the waters of the Pacific Ocean and the South China Sea. The largest lakes in this country are Laguna in the west of Luzon Island and Taal in its center. Two lakes of Lanao and Surigao Lake are also located in Mindanao Island. The largest rivers of this country, Cagayan and Pacsahan, flow in Luzon and Palangi and Agusan rivers in Mindanao. The climate of the Philippines is tropical with high humidity. Filipinos are always faced with typhoons and monsoons throughout the year, and because of these torrential rains, almost 70% of these islands are covered by lush tropical forests. The air temperature ranges from 20 to 40 degrees and the humidity also reaches from 36% to 90%. The occurrence of earthquakes in these islands is a common phenomenon. The most important volcanic peaks in the Philippines are Mayon and Pinatubo Peaks in Luzon Island, Apo Peak in Mindanao Island, and Canlaon Peak in Negros Island, the activation of which has sometimes caused financial and life losses to the residents around them. The activation of the Pinatubo volcano in the south of Luzon Island in 1990, in addition to the damage it caused to the people, also destroyed the American military bases in the Philippines and finally led to the collection of these bases. China and the Philippines have a dispute over the ownership of the Renai Islands, which Beijing refers to as the Nensha Islands, and the Johnson Sea Dunes. The waters of the South China Sea, which have rich resources of oil and gas and fisheries, are the place of challenge between China and the Philippines. China claims absolute ownership of the waters of the South China Sea and has always asked other claimants, including the Philippines, Vietnam and Japan, to end these tensions through bilateral talks. The Philippines has taken these disputes to the United Nations International Court of Justice. Manila, the capital of the Philippines, has made great progress in the past years. This city has about 10 million people and is still one of the cheapest cities in the world. In terms of geographical location, this city is located at the mouth of the Great Pasig River, with Manila Bay in the east and Luzon in the west. This city is 950 kilometers southeast of Hong Kong and 2,400 kilometers northeast of Singapore. The Pasig River also runs through the city and is accessible to almost all Manila residents. The city of Manila is the main center of trade, investment and financial administrative affairs in the Philippines. The Port of Manila has the largest volume of imports and exports in the entire country of the Philippines. The headquarters of important financial and commercial institutions such as the Philippine National Bank, Philippine Central Insurance, Veterans Bank and a large number of private credit financial institutions are located in Manila. The Philippines is the 34th largest economy in the world with a gross domestic product of $371.8 billion in 2018. Most of the Philippines' exports include semiconductors and electronic equipment, transportation equipment, clothing, copper-related products, gasoline-related products, oil, it is coconut and fruits. The country's largest trading partners are the United States of America, Japan, China, Singapore, South Korea, the Netherlands, Hong Kong, Germany, Taiwan and Thailand. The currency of this country is the Philippine peso or PHP. Each Philippine peso is equal to $0.019 and each US dollar is equal to 52.1 pesos. April 2022. The Philippines is a newly industrialized country that is transitioning from agriculture-based industry to service industries and manufacturing. With a workforce of 40.813 million people, 30% of this workforce is employed in the agricultural industry, which generates 14% of GDP, and the industrial sector comprises 14% of the workforce, which accounts for 30% of GDP. In this way, 47% of the workforce is active in the administrative and service sector, which includes 56% of the GDP. The amount of mineral reserves of the Philippines is very significant despite the small size of this country. There are abundant metal mineral resources in this country, so that according to previous productions and proven reserves of gold, it ranks second in the world and third in copper. Copper mines are scattered in wide parts of this country, and most of them have amounts of gold and silver. Nickel and chrome are among the other valuable metals in the mines of this country, while the Philippines is in a good situation in terms of non-metallic mines such as marble and limestone. It is believed that the history of the Philippines began with the arrival of the first humans using boats or logs at least 6,700 years ago, as suggested by the 2007 discovery of Luzon man. Negrito groups were the first to settle in the prehistoric Philippines. After that, groups of Austronesian peoples later arrived on the islands. The discovery of stone tools in 2018 and the fossil remains of domesticated animals in Rizal, Kalinga have pushed back evidence of early hominins in the country to 709,000 years. Still, the earliest archaeological evidence for man in the archipelago is the 67,000-year-old Luzonian man of Cagayan and the Angono petroglyphs in Rizal, both of which seem to indicate human settlements before the arrival of the Negritos and Austrians. Continued excavations in the Kalua cave led to the discovery of 12 bones of 3 hominin individuals that were identified as a new species called Homo luzonensis. Researchers generally believe that these social groups eventually evolved with different degrees of economic specialization, social classification, and political organization. They spread in different towns or cities. Some of these settlements, mainly in areas located on important rivers, achieved such a scale of social complexity that some scholars believe that they should be considered early states, including the predecessors of today's population centers such as Manila, Tonda, Pangasinan, Cebu, Panay, Bohol, Bhutan, Cotabato, Lanao and Sulu, as well as some cities such as Maay, whose possible location is still debated among scientists. It was Asia. The first Europeans who came to these islands were the companions of the famous explorer Ferdinand Magellan, who discovered this island with him in 1521 and set foot on this land. Friends, these programs, which are given to you with the correct date and information, are the result of our round-the-clock research, so please subscribe and visit the bell to be informed about the latest release of our channel, and also share and like this channel with your friends. Your support is ours. Watch for the world, it encourages more. Don't hesitate and help to get more watch time. Thank you.